I mean, we loaded in pass rush, but we're not loaded in. We're not really just got guys, and then the guys that we have are, we talking about an XFL player in Winfrey. We talking about a rookie and Jay Tor, and Solomon Thomas is somewhat of an older guy, and Peyton Turner is a tweener, if you ask me. Uh, he's not. I mean, Mazi is. Why would we do it? I don't get the reason why. And the truth of the matter is this. See, it's the Cowboys' fault because he got drafted in the first round, so there are first round expectations on him. But when you look at the film, y'all, Mazi ain't played that. I mean, it ain't been bad. He's never been a playmaking type dude. His job is to clog things up, and if you look at the little times he's been in, he's clogged it up. I ain't saying he's no Pro Bowl player, but this is what he is. But I don't. But let me say this, and then I promise I'll pass it on. If Jerry is saying we keeping him, but the coaches say, we want to keep somebody like Winfrey, but if we keep Mazi, we're gonna have to let Winfrey go. And if you let Winfrey go, he ain't gonna make it through the waiver wire. Somebody gonna pick him up.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? So you got to ask yourself the question: okay, if you cut him, to what expense though? Who's gonna be left out? So I don't think he should really be on the chopping block at all. To be honest with you, not Mazi. I don't think he should even be in the conversation. But if he is, somebody thinking something, and then Jerry saying, "Hold up, we're gonna keep him," and that's a bad sign because Jerry is overriding the coaches, the one that's been coaching. So if that is what's happening, then that's an issue.
Well, I tell you what, the way they used him in preseason, they act like he's playing for his job, to be totally honest with you, because he was like one of the only starters that was out there the whole time. Yeah. I was like, man, they really taking a strong look at Mazi.
Friday night.
What you said, big time, is correct. This is not addition by subtraction. When you take him out, you got to put somebody else in. And so he is a body that's there. And I lean on Okoye because Okoye is really going to bat for him. Okoye is a film watcher. One Tech may be one of the ones that you really got to watch the film on to see if he's actually doing good. Because you're not going to see tackles, you're not going to see sacks or any kind of statistic. You just got to see what he's doing. And Collier backs him. I have a little bit of trust in Collier more than my eyes. So I'll go with that. Another thing is the Joneses don't ever want to prove that don't want to admit that they're wrong. So they'll wait out a first round draft pick for 5 years, man. You know what I'm saying? So I think he's going to be on the final roster for a fact that we don't really have nobody in the street's going to replace Mazi. And so if they do, it'll be similar to Mazi. So you might as well have kept Mazi anyway. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, me personally, I think he's gonna make the team just because of like everything that you all said and the fact that if Jerry say Jerry's going to bat for him, then he's gonna be here. But if this was outside of Jerry's opinion, I think that it would be between someone like him and Perion Winfrey and the other guy. What's the other guy that was just making all kind of noise? And is it James? What's the other guy's name that was making all kind of noise? He's a playmaker.
Houston?
Yeah. Is it James Houston?
He's a linebacker though.
Yeah, he's a
I thought he was a defensive end.
He's a defensive end / linebacker, but he's at the bottom of the barrel fighting for a spot.
So somebody like him, if you could keep him and Perion Winfrey and get rid of Mazi, Mazi would be gone, in my opinion, because Eberflus has this system to where he got all these 3 ticks, and Houston and Winfrey, they kind of fit the mold of the Eberflus, the person he wants, right there. I mean, and they doing good, but Mazi just really doesn't have a position. He's really not your standard 3 tech. He's not good at it. I mean, your standard 1 tech, he's not good at it. And then the 3 tech, he really don't do that. He's not Osa, so it's kind of like I mean, but also like you said, I mean, if you remove him, you got to replace him with somebody. So that's another thing I've been texting my dad and my uncle about all day. I've been seeing DT after DT after DT get traded for 7th-round picks and 6th-round picks
Yesterday and today.
all throughout
They're
the
not waiting. They're
NFL.
not waiting on. They're not waiting on the
They waiting
on the
on
waiver
cut.
wire. They're identifying people they want to get, and they're going to get them, man, because it's going to be
And
hard
they,
on the waiver wire.
And this is
they
really
cutting people. And they
and,
cutting people to make room for that person they just traded.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then it makes me mad because it's just like that's the one thing that we should be doing. We should be doing that, and then we're not. But I also wanted to say this before I lose my train of thought. It's not about the Cowboys paying their players because, like B.Bird said earlier, it's not like we gonna just be cool after this situation. We are gonna be cool and we cool on the business side, but you meant some of that stuff you said. But the problem with that is it's the when that they pay it. You know, when they do it. Like Jerry made a comment with Stephen A the other day and said, I like to hold out. I like to wait it out. And it's just like, well, Jerry, waiting it out doesn't hurt. It doesn't help anyone. It hurts the team when you do that. So I mean, like what you're saying is that you're gonna wait it out. That makes absolutely no sense. Basically, what you're saying is like, I'm gonna spend more money. Like Dak, he didn't have to be the highest top. He didn't have to be the highest paid. CD didn't either. Neither did Micah. He could have did Micah before TJ Watt. So it's just like these guys, they do this late, and it's like they don't have to do this late. You know what I'm saying? Like Patrick Surtain probably is the best corner, but I mean, it's just like he didn't get done late. You know what I mean? So it's just like you don't have to wait until the contract is the maximum amount before you sign them. You can sign some of these guys early, and then in situations like this, when you need a DT, let's just put it like this: if they would have signed CD a little earlier, if they would have signed Dak a little earlier, and if they would have signed Micah a little earlier, they would have enough money right now via cap space to go get a DT. They would. They would have saved about $60-70 million in cap, and they would be able to go do that right now. So it's just like when they pay the players, that's the problem.
But what I was going to add is they're under the cap. So right now, for the first time in years, their cap is actually really good. So the question is, what are they going to do with it? Do they really want to build a team and spend the money to put a team together that can win it out? And where I am on Mazi is I've been saying this for months, and I've been tweeting this with all of the content creators. Here's the thing. We actually need 2 one-techs guys. We need 2 veterans. And then if you get 2 veteran one-techs, what you do then with Mazi, you put Mazi back in that developmental phase. He comes in and just pays some quality snaps. The focus is not on him. So we need actually two one-techs.
Who the 2 one-techs you gonna get and who you replacing? Because if you bring 2 one-techs in and then you keep Mazi, those are 2 spots that you're gonna have to get rid of.
So what I'm gonna probably do, I'm gonna look at the offensive line, and I'm gonna look at some other areas of the team. And just FYI, Lyle Collins got released a few minutes ago. And so with Mazi, I think he's gonna make it. We all pulling for Mazi, and the best thing for Mazi is just to come in and play well. I did want to ask you guys about Diggs. It looks like he passes physical, and he's going to be ready to play. It looks like. So, what do you guys think about Diggs and where he is? And B.Bird, we'll start with you on this one. Did he prove the Jones is wrong by using his own trainer now that he is almost ready to play?
I'm going to read you my tweet because I pulled it up. I said, so Diggs, out of his own pocket, paid to get rehab elsewhere due to the mistrust of the Cowboy staff stemming from last year. He comes back before time due to that outside paid rehab, and for that, the Joneses take $500K out of his pocket. Make it make sense. And I think this is what I would have did, because I also text this out. I said the Cowboys should have monitored his progress throughout this rehabilitation. And if he was on schedule, then there's no issue with him rehabbing elsewhere. If he was behind schedule, then they could have fined him or whatever. The Cowboys were offended by his preference, even though the results were favorable to the team. That's absolutely right. And so at the end of the day, all of us, especially us 3, we go to the doctor, man. If he tells us that, hey, man, look, hey, you need this, you need this procedure or that procedure, and then you say, okay, I'm gonna go get a second opinion. That doctor shouldn't be offended by me going and get a second opinion, right? It's my right to go get a second opinion. He's only offended if he's arrogant or anything else. And so what I'm saying is, it's okay for Diggs to rehab with the Cowboys last year, not get back quite right, and then re-injure itself, and then say, hey, I'm not going through that again. Now, the Cowboys put out that he didn't attack his rehab in a proper way. I've always felt a little fishy about that, right? Because I would have never put that out about a player. But I think that was a little bit fishy. Maybe the rehab is not, Boss is putting out some things and saying they got a seat from the players as far as the rehabbing portion of the Cowboy staff. And so I think that what was that?
A D plus.
A D plus. Yeah, it's crazy. And I think that we're talking about the most valuable franchise in the world again, fellas. But I think that Diggs coming back really, it says that they got real premature with that. We're going to find him and this, that, and other. One thing I'll say this and I'll go on. If I'm going to find him, I don't even put that in the press. Because if it's not about trying to show what I'm going to do to people, it's just like, man, no, this was your contract. You didn't do it. So we're going to fine you. Just tell your agent. We don't need to know. It's not a fine. He just didn't get the bonus. But it's still $500,000 that he's not getting. But for him to come back ahead of schedule and they still get fined, to me, that's kind of, they're real premature on that.
Again, not to try to go against B.Bird at all, but when you listen to B.Bird, see, it's hard for rational people to think outside irrationally because we're not built like that. But in order to understand what's going on, you got to think irrationally. You charged him that amount of money because you were petty. That's the bottom line. That's it. See, it's not hard to figure out. He didn't do what you wanted him to do, and there's a whole bunch of players that got second opinions and they're doctors and all that. No, you didn't want him in Florida, in Vegas, and wherever. You wanted him in Dallas. To what Boss Cowboys put out, and I'm gonna read it to you, and then I'll give you a little perspective. This is what Boss Cowboy put out on his Twitter, and this is not him. He borrowed this from, I don't know where he bought it from. It's the Dallas Cowboys training staff received a D plus grade, a D plus, y'all, in the 2024 NFL PA team report cards, with only 62% of players feeling they receive enough one-on-one treatment and rating their contribution to success low. Players felt the training staff lacked sufficient resources and one-on-one treatment, placing the Cowboys 30th in the league in this area. Now, when you hear that and they rank 30th, ladies and gentlemen, everybody here on the panel, that means Diggs had remember, he had a knee injury, the ACL, and he came back too early.
Yeah.
He was in the locker room with Brett Brown and them, the training staff. What happened when he came back? He wasn't right. And he got hurt again, this time to have a microfracture surgery.
A surgery that I've had.
Is totally different than the ACL. It's crazy. It's unbelievable. And to hear him saying that he's back ready to go now, look, I don't know what they did. Whoever this second doctor is, whoever he is, they need to hire him. Some NFL staff need to hire this dude because Diggs, I don't think he's going to be ready for Philly. But for him not to be on the PUP list, man,
that's big.
He's going to be back a little bit way earlier than what most people thought. But if you got a D plus, I ain't say a B plus, I said a D plus. The next grade lower is a F. Let me ask y'all this simple question. I told you it's irrational thinking. Why would I want to come to you?
Yeah. Would you go to a D plus doctor?
I'm going to a D plus staff.
Yeah.
Why am I putting my body? This is the only way I get to get paid. Why am I putting it there? So look, I came to y'all, and then I got hurt some more. Why would this is not hard? Why would I come back to y'all? So to answer your question, Newt, listen, we'll see when he comes back if he's the same. But for him to even be not put on the PUP list, that is incredible. Considering that he came back, I don't think the ACL was right. And then you pop that off with the microfracture surgery, and now you come back from all that, and now you ready to play. Hey, kudos to him. I'm glad he back. He makes our team better. No question. I'd rather have him on the field than Andrew Booth. I'll leave him alone.
But check this out. We talked about this earlier about the cash flow. The thing is, they got the D+ grade because they don't have enough staff. They don't have enough staff. Why? Because they don't want to pay what
That's right,
normal
man.
teams pay. So it keeps we keep coming back to the same thing. When these guys got to spend money, they don't want to spend the money, even for their, their staff, their training staff, their rehab staff. And by the way, I have another theory that we're gonna talk about in another show, gentlemen. I have a theory they hired Eberflus because Chicago is paying part of his salary. And I don't think he was the best hire. So they got Eberflus on a discount, which goes back to where we started at. Your comment, Jules?
No, well, before Jules go, I'm sorry, but Lou and our brother Lou is in the building. Y'all see
What's up, Lou?
What's up, Lou?
Listen, I'm gonna take it words. If you got a D, I don't even want you treating my allergies. I forget a high ankle sprain. I don't even want you treating my allergies. I'm serious. Go ahead, Jules.
Hey, we wouldn't even go to a D+ restaurant.
That's what I'm trying to tell you.
No, I want y'all to. We need to ask Jared. Hey, you got a new building you about to put together. Would you go to a D+ architecture? Would you go to a D+? Would you do that? No, he would not. If you were going to purchase a building, would you talk to the owner of the building or would you talk to the real estate agent? Who would you talk to? So my thing about the Trayvon thing is just like Trayvon. I got two things that I think about Trayvon. He gets a bonus for every game that he plays. You know what I'm saying? So it's like 52,000 a game, and then it equals to $1 million at the end of the year. So, and then I also think that Trayvon thinks that his 85% is better than everybody else's 100%. So I feel like Trayvon gonna come out there, and he'll be somewhere between 85 to 100% ready to go, and he gonna play like it. I feel like he gonna play like it, So I feel like he ready to go. When Dak got his hamstring injury, the Cowboys doctors told him that he needed season-ending surgery. Dak went and had 2 more assessments done. He went to 2 outside agencies to get the second opinion and the third opinion, and then after that, Dak chose who did the surgery between the Cowboys doctors and the other doctors that they all came together and they all decided who would do the surgery. So that just goes to show you that they being petty. They choosing who to do this with, and they choosing who to make this a big deal with. Why do we even know about that? Why do we even know about that? It's because they just want to be petty with Trayvon. They want to be. And it's got, it's certain players that they gonna be petty with, and it's certain players that they not gonna be petty with. They ain't gonna be petty with Dak.
Well, it's bottom line, Jules. It's bottom line. Yeah. You didn't do what I told you to do.
Right. That's it.
You did not come to Dallas. You did what you wanted to do, even though we know you was working, because we called and checked. That was Brian Schottenheimer said. We know we're keeping in touch with his people, and they say he working. So you know he working, but we can't see you. Well, shoot, if you ever want to see him, fly y'all tail down there. Send somebody down there to go look.
And then I didn't like this either. And then I didn't like how Stephen Jones and Jerry was just like, oh, we had a conversation about this, and he knew he was going to get fined, and he still made that decision. Yeah. And in that same day that he said that, Trayvon was out on the practice field, and Trayvon was like, nah, I had no idea I was finna get fined, so I didn't even know about that. And they would we was like, well, Stephen and Jerry said that you did, and y'all had this conversation, and that you chose to do it anyway. And Trayvon was like, nah, I didn't know nothing about that. I was shocked.
Yeah. So let B.Bird go, and we're gonna do one other topic, and we're gonna close out. Go ahead, B.Bird.
One of the things, man, this is a little retrospect. I remember when Jerry was talking to the opening press conference, he was talking about Parsons missing 6 games, which he missed 4, and Dak missing games, him paying the contract and them missing games. I think that lends a little bit to, let me give you a little bit of me. Whenever I make a decision, a big decision, I make it with the facts I have at the time, right? So if I make the decision with the facts I have, I feel confident going forward no matter what happens, even if it doesn't pan out right? And so when you're making a decision as a GM, you make it with all the information you have at the time. Now, somebody might get hurt, but I'm not going to go back in 2020 hindsight and say we should have did something like that. So I think that but that's what happened when you work with emotions, right? I gave this example the other day, and I'm not going to be long-winded about this. I used to gamble a long time ago. And so I used to play blackjack, but I was bad at it, right? Because I used to go off hunches and feels and all this other kind of stuff. If any of y'all know how to play blackjack, y'all get what I'm saying. So I was at the job one day, and this engineer came to me. He started talking about gambling. I said, "Oh yeah, man, I go, but I don't do too well on blackjack." And he said, "Well, do you have a card?" And I was like, "Well, what card are you talking about?" He said, "Well, they got a card that tells you when to hit and when to, when to hit or when to stay." I was like, "Oh man," I said, "That's like a cheat card. I mean, you can bring that in." He said, "No, you can sit and put it right on the table." And so the last time I ever gambled, I went to the casino and I played off that card. What I did is, when that card told me to take a hit, I took a hit. When it told me to stay, I stayed. I won. But it wasn't a thing that got me winning. The thing it was is that I didn't second guess my decisions because I knew I made the right decision every time. But the card's going to fall the way the cards are going to fall, and you're going to lose even if you make the right decision. So I don't like them. They don't have enough conviction to say, or they're too attached emotionally to the money, to whereas another GM would handle it like I'm at the blackjack table with a card and they're just making decisions without emotions. That's how it has to be. The Cowboys are too involved emotionally with their contracts, with their decisions, and I think it affects a whole bunch of things, man. And I've always been on the road as the reason that owner GM model, it just doesn't work because the owner is being the GM and he's in his feelings and he one has the purse. And that's why we have this thing with Micah out there in the public. That's why it was the Dak. That's why it was the Zeke who. All these things were emotional things, man. We don't talk enough about his emotion. That's why we went and got Trey Lance. It was because of Dak Prescott negotiation wasn't going good. He wanted to bring in Trey Lance, showcase him, and then get some leverage. It just didn't work out. But all those things were emotional decisions, man. And Jerry's just a little bit, and I don't think Steven is, but he's just cheap. Jerry's just emotional, man.
Yeah, and that's definitely something we got to just consider. They're really just not good at their job, guys. They just don't have a method. You know, I've talked to Big Time Show about the company I work for, FedEx. You know, we had a method to everything. You know, it was ran like the military. You had to be precise. You had to look at trends, and you know, if something wasn't working, you had to immediately fix it. It wasn't allowed to go on for months, and definitely didn't go on for 30 years. But I'm gonna close with this. This will be something for the OGs on the panel, and Jules, you'll get part of this too. I'm gonna run these names by you as we get ready to start this season. So we got Tony Dorsett, Emmitt Smith. Then you had DeMarco Murray, Ezekiel Elliott. So these guys have seen every championship team or a team that's contending has always had a star running back. So the call is coming from inside the house. So how did they go an entire offseason in 2 or 3 drafts and not take a running back in the first 2 or 3 rounds? And so now we've got running back by committee, which again, it's just not the way you would want to run a franchise. You could have had Derrick Henry, a couple of other guys. So what do you guys see this running back thing? How's that going to play? Because we really don't have a go-to running back at this point. Big Time.
You know, I think we just got to be honest with you, in fairness to Coach Schottenheimer, I think that's a wait and see type thing. If you are really going to be run heavy, which I don't believe in the first place, I never believed it. When you got this type of offense, it's obvious that the passing game is the strength of your offense. So you just want to run it when you want to. You got a history of injured guys that are here. You're talking about Sanders and Williams. They're injured prone type guys. So they leave you Blue and a Lemke, and I don't know if they're gonna keep somebody else. You know, there are a lot of people think about Deuce. I don't think Deuce gonna make it, but regardless, you know, you need a committee because you got a bunch of hurt guys. Mm-hmm. That's the way I look at it. Should they have done it before? They had the opportunity to do it in the draft this year. They chose not to. I think it was a blessing to get Blue in the 5th round. That was, you know, for him to be there. That's a pretty good bargain. But we could have, you know, got a Caleb Johnson that's in Pittsburgh now. You know, we could have got they chose to go Booker, which I totally approve of at when they at 12. So I'm not gonna argue with that part at all. But the running back position is kind of like the DT position. We never valued it other than, you know, when we got Zeke. And then after that, when Zeke started going down, you know, we were blessed to get Pollard. But I got something better than that. At some point, y'all, let's just be truthful. Y'all don't have to agree with me, but we just let a 1,000-yard rusher go on a bad team last year. That was Rico.
Yeah.
Rico on this team, we would have been somewhat satisfied.
Probably your best running back at this point.
You would have been Rico would have been okay with us right now, and they didn't give me the rest of the backups. But we decided to let them go, and now we do this committee thing. Look, this thing this year, to be honest with you, is gonna be about the triplets. It's gonna be about Dak and Pickens and Lamb. And you throw in Ferguson, you throw in Turpin, you throw in whoever. That it's gonna be about the pass. And I don't think it's gonna be all about that running like he trying to preach. He ain't gonna have no choice. But that's what happens.
The pass is set up to run is what we're gonna see. B.Bird, what you think about the running back situation?
So we don't sign free agents because we felt like the front office felt like they got burnt with Brandon Carr. We don't value running backs because they feel like Zeke got them on that deal. Okay, so they have PTSD that lasts for too doggone long, to be honest with you. Again, it's a feelings thing, right? They in their emotions behind that. But I thought last season, I talked to Law in the last offseason, not last offseason, but one before 2024 season. And I told him not only would I have gotten Henry, now this is before, I would have got DeAndre Swift on the backside. I am a contrarian. When the whole league is setting up the pass, now I'm going to run the ball. Because guess what? Your linemen are set up to get after the quarterback. They're light. Your linebackers are set up to cover running backs and tight ends. And your safeties are built to cover. So now it's time to run. Well, what's the most inexpensive thing on the field? The running back. So I would tell you this. Henry is more valuable than CeeDee Lamb. If you really look at it. Look at how many times you can get a ball to Henry a game versus how many times CeeDee Lamb get to get. Can you set the tone with a wide receiver or a running back?
I'll be back in a minute.
And he was only $8 million last year, man. We got to start looking at these things, man. This is what you can't even get barely get a number 3 wide receiver for $8 million. So while the whole league, I think they have conspired to keep running back salaries low. I've always said that instead of having one guy get 15 yards, 15 touchdowns, they'd rather get 3 guys get 500 yards and 3 guys get 5 touchdowns apiece. That way you go to each one of those individuals go to the negotiation table. Dude, you ain't run with 500 yards. What are you talking about? And so they've done that to keep that value low. But if you look outside the box and say, man, running back is still valuable. I think 2024 showed that because with Saquon, with Henry, and really the linchpin for turning Philadelphia around was Saquon Barkley and the threat of Saquon Barkley and all the things that he did. That was it, man. And so going back to us, I think we do have to. We've never won without a lead back, man. I'm talking about one of the dudes that we can get about through 20 something times. They're gonna get us 115 yards. We've never won big without that. Also, too, man, I'm going with big time. I don't know how we gonna do this thing because we set up to run, pass, but we say we're gonna run, but we look like we're gonna pass more than what we're gonna run, man. Yeah. So I don't know what we're gonna do here. Hopefully somebody emerges and say, nah, man, this guy here has been at game 3. We're going to get this guy about 20 times, and everybody else going to get the crumbs because he's performing. Hopefully that's blue. You know what I'm saying? So we just got to, it's a wait and see thing. We hadn't seen the real offense kind of roll out yet, so we just got to wait and see what happens, man. That's my take on it.
So this is my take on it. So I feel like, and we'll wrap after this. We've been on for about 1 hour and 20, but we'll wrap after this. I know. That's so my thing is this. I agree with both of you guys. I agree with big time. But I'm gonna say this: I do have a little bit more faith in Blue and Mafa and Lukey. I do have a little bit more faith in those 3 guys. I got faith in Blue. I got faith in Mafa, and I got faith in Lukey. Now I'll say this also. We've never the Cowboys have always been a team that's doing good things in the running back. We've always had a star running back, but there are teams in the league that don't have, just top 10 running backs, and they're good teams. And then there's also another thing too. There's also teams that their scheme is what gets their running backs going. It's just like the 49ers and the Rams, and what I'm saying. It's just like no matter who their running back is, their running backs do good because of the scheme and the misdirection, and they just do good no matter who the running back is. So we have to wait and see if we can have some of that going on. And then also, when I look at like Cincinnati, Joe Burrow can't run. You know what I'm saying? And we don't even know who their running back is. But Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, they
Chase
will
Brown.
they will put up 40 points a game on you, and they won't run the ball at all. So it's just like, it's a happy medium in there. Of course, you want a dynamic running back, but I think that Blue running a 4-2 or 4-3, I don't care if this guy touches the ball on first and 10 and he gets 3 yards and falls down. If on 2nd and 4 he taking 40 yards to the house or 50 yards to the house or a 60-yard gain here and there, then I mean, hey, it is what it is. So I feel like the running back's gonna be okay. I don't feel like I don't feel like it's gonna be that big of a deal. And I'm more concerned about defensive tackle than anything. I'm more concerned about stopping the run than I am us being able to run. So
Well, let's go ahead and wrap, Jules. We don't keep these guys on for long. So shout out to Dwayne Brown. He says he retired from FedEx. So shout out to you. Congratulations on a great career. So big time. What is Orange Mound? Is that a neighborhood?
Yes, it is right here in the hard part here in Memphis, South Memphis, close to South Memphis. Well, it just depends on y'all. Orange Mound, legendary, Melrose High School, et cetera, et cetera. You gotta be from Memphis to know what I'm talking about. Shout out to you. Shout out to you, Dwayne.
Yeah, and I would spend a lot of time in Memphis, but a lot of time in Collierville as well over the years. And so shout out to all of the FedEx family out there. And so big time show, B.Bird. So B.Bird, go ahead and promote your new show. It's terrific. We've been look B.Bird really is one of the people that he's one of the best. He always keeps it real. And he just brings a certain level of class to this space. And so, man, we just so glad to be able to hook up with him. So, B.Bird, promote your show and tell people what you're doing with your new show.
Yeah, so I just want to give a shout out to JV B-Boy. He's in here. He supports everybody. I just want to just tell him thanks for that.
Yeah.
B-Bird Cowboy, it's just that I've been kind of calling in the shows for a few years now, and I was prodded by my kids. Hey, you ought to start your own show. So for my birthday, they bought me a camera, and here I am. I just want to keep it real, y'all. I am big on structure, so I really concentrate on the front office. I do love the team. I've been a Cowboy fan I started adding it up the other day. I think the first game I remember was 14-7. I think it was like 1973. I watched it by myself. And that was Miami versus the Cowboys. We lost after Miami went undefeated that year. And so I've been watching for a long time, man. Just to be a part of this content creation thing, just being a fan of you guys, big time, father and son Cowboys. Been watching it for a long time, man. It's people that are passionate about. I've never met anyone that was as passionate about the Cowboys until I got into this content creation scene. It's just been great, man. And so y'all can catch me on B.Bird Cowboy on YouTube and on X, man. So hey, just interact with me. You interact with me, I'm going to interact with you if y'all can. I haven't went live in a while. I've been getting my kids off to Prairie View. And so I had to take them each at a certain time. So I've been kind of busy. But I am going to get back on it. I've been dropping some videos. That's probably how I'm going to communicate. I will start going live later on. But hey, y'all just support me. I'm just going to keep it real, y'all. I'm not in this for bucks. If that comes, that comes. But I'm just in it for the passionate Cowboy fans. And we're trying to get 6, y'all. So that's what I'm in it for. That's it for me, bro.
And big time, talk about your show. Well known. You've been around for a while and just doing terrific things and somebody that we certainly admire. You were one of the first people I listened to in the content space, and then found out that we're fraternity brothers, which took it to another level. So go ahead and talk about your show.
First of all, listen, really, I'm taking this totally different. I respect all of y'all. First of all, B.Bird was one of the people that were respected just from the chat group. I mean, you got to be up at all these chats going on, but when B.Bird said something, you locked in on it. He's been on my show, of course, been with all the other brothers and stuff. So he was already, his name was already out there, and was so glad. He's one of the ones, along with Coach Marr, that we've always said, these two guys here need to do a show because you can tell by the content of what they're saying in the chat that they were great. And it just made perfect sense. So I, for one, am super hyped that B.Bird is in the building now.
Appreciate you, brother.
To put a face to the chat now. And what you're gonna hear is somebody that's well versed in what he's doing. As far as Jules and my frat there goes, listen, I was just so happen to be popping, and then here I, and I see you guys after y'all came, kind of came my way. Listen, man, the numbers or subscriptions don't dictate the quality. And what I'm listening to when I hear somebody like Jules, who's super passionate but highly informed, research, et cetera, numbers guy, and then you got Pop here, and he is kind of like B.Bird and myself. We just about some of the most relaxed content creators that you're gonna find because we old. You understand me? We even had no blood pressure problems on it because we know the Cowboy. We text Shram boys. You understand? We
Absolutely.
We were Cowboy fans before Jerry Jones got here. Exactly. Jules, that's it. That's where we come from.
That's right.
Group back there. We with Jerry Jones is kind of like a comedy show for us. We even though Jerry won, we know his type. And when I say that, I'm talking something completely other than football. I'm sorry to you young viewers, but we know stuff because we lived it. I'm
That's
telling you
right.
a different way. So I'm more happy to see a B.Bird, even though he's not a startup guy, but in the content world of his channel, he's gonna grow tremendous. B.Bird, I saw one time on Twitter, and you just done killed the Twitter game. I ain't never had no 200-300 people watching me on Twitter.
Yeah, I didn't know it either.
I don't know how you did it, but I ain't never had that. And I've been in it a while, but I'm just saying it's stuff like this that I'm talking about. Jules, the father and son content. I mean, it's just a blessing to have father and son just doing anything together. That by itself, that's enough to applaud right there. But let me carry this thing and up the ante. See, I'm a pastor, as most of you know. I'm an assistant pastor, and things are not by coincidence. Now I want everybody to look at this screen, and I put my channels on here, and I see most of y'all that came, and I see some of y'all in here. Ladies and gentlemen, whether you know it or not, and to B.Bird and to Jules and Nuke, we done fill up on the show here. I just want to put it out there. I don't know if you want to call it the OG Cowboys, whatever the old men. What I don't give. Put men with gray beards like mine. I don't care what you do. I'm just saying there is a space, and I will show you the numbers from at least from my group. My group is not like Lou over here. Lou takes, I think he's still in here. Boss, Kenny, Landlord, all my brothers. But I don't get the 25 to 34 group. My group is mostly group from 40 plus.
Yeah.
Is that a coincidence? Probably, yeah. It's not a coincidence. It's just that I'm older. And older people like to hear older other people talk and just drop it like it's hot and say what's real and ain't got to be all that type of stuff. I think that this right here, and I'm just putting it out there, Jules, you the man. But what you got right here could be something real interesting. I just say it like that, and I'm done. If you want to follow me, everybody should know by now the Big Time Show. Just go on YouTube, the Big Time Show. Find this big old face, and you'll be on the right show. Facebook, I'm there. Twitter, same thing. The Big Time Show. Facebook, the Big Time Show. Like and subscribe. Hey, the season is here. All the talking is over with. Let's roll.
Yeah. So Jules, I'm kind of say a couple things about you, then I'll let you close us out. So one of the things that I'm really impressed with these two guys here. So fathers, and we throw the moms in there too, and then I have a daughter. So anytime you have parents that are involved with their kids, you shouldn't take it for granted. It means a lot. So B.Bird was talking about dropping his kids off at PV. we know what Big Time is doing with his son, who's playing football. He's a AAU basketball. So when you got the parents involved with the kids, it's a wonderful thing. You should never take it for granted. So my son, this content thing was something that I said I would never get involved with. I wasn't interested in being on camera, none of that. And I'm a behind the scenes guy. But we started this channel, and I did it because he wanted to do it. He said he wanted me to do it with him. So being the dad, you have to do what you do to support the kids in whatever way you do. So want to shout out B.Bird and Big Time for just the example that they set, being fathers and just knocking it out of the park in that space. So Jules, go ahead and close us out and just talk about what you're doing. It sounds like we got maybe something that we're gonna try to produce here, so we definitely gonna follow up on that.
Even if we got to do it once a week. I mean, the
Yeah,
seed.
Yeah, just let me know, man. I'm there.
Yeah, that's definitely we got to do that because I said it last time. We broke a record. Every time y'all do a show, it breaks the record on our show. Like this show right here broke the record of the one a couple weeks ago, and we ain't gonna never have this many people watching. So we definitely have to do this once a week. We have to make this a staple, and like I like listening to you all a lot. So I do like to give my 2 cents, but most of the time when y'all talking, I just kind of sit back and chill. So I'm okay with doing that. I'm okay with not being on and just watching y'all. I enjoy watching y'all. So and then another thing, like my dad said, the father and the son thing is important. I have a 6-year-old son, and I watch Big Time, and I listen to B.Bird and how great role models they are, and then like my dad, like for I wanted to do this content thing for a long time, and I have a lot of other things that I be want to do, a lot of other businesses, but I always wanted a partner. Now I didn't need a partner, but I wanted a partner, and so I wanted a partner to do it with. And so, I just wanted to be known that this thing didn't get jumping until my dad said, you know what? I'm going to be your partner. I'll be your partner. That's when this took off. When my dad said, okay, you want to do it? I'm going to do it with you. Let's do it. And when he said that, it was a thing then. It was a thought, and it got turned into an action. So it got turned into something tangible. The moment that my dad said, all right, let's do it. I'm gonna be your partner. So, that's a lot of times that's all you need. So, shouts out to my dad. But I would always tell my dad, like, yo, this content space, these content creators, these are the guys like us. Mm-hmm. These are the guys that think like we do, that talk like we do. You gotta check this out. This is our space. You know what I'm saying? This is our space where this is our safe space where we can be safe. Because we're not, like he said, we're laid back type of guys. We don't be out there like that. But this is our space right here. And so I just want to commend my dad for that. And just like I said, this is a great thing we got going here, and we building it from the ground up, and we building it right. And so.
And I did want to tell Big Time Bishop, I want to tell you this: September 4th, my son will need prayer. He when he watching the games, he's like, he needs prayer. That's all I can tell you. He takes it really hard. It ruins his day. It ruins his week. Yeah, I'm past that. We're more mature, so he does need prayer.
Well, he need prayer, and I was once like that as well. And when you put out yourself out like this in the content world, and you got a lot of people who follow you, you now become the target regardless. So it only increases. We're gonna pray for his patience and his, we got to be specific. We got to pray, ask God to increase his patience, give him peace.
It's the only thing that gives me a natural high. It gives me a natural high. I just have to be, my mind have to be right. I have to be, I have to have my water on this side. I have to have my Coke on this side. I have to have, patience. Sometimes I have to watch it on my laptop so I can stand up and move around and just kind of, walk a little bit. Or, it's just.
Let me throw you why it's important. And I'm gonna need your help on this with Jules real quick. I need you to. The last comment is Chris. Well, not now. Robert King is there. What's up, Robert? Chris. Go down to his not the father and son, nothing like it, even though that's great. I want you to go down to his last one before that and put that up there. And this will show you why this is important. And we're not coming against it. It's go down. My comment there that says try and Shane, the one right below that. There
Below
it is.
it?
Right there. That's it. If you see that right there, ladies and gentlemen, that's why we older guys are needed. All right.
Yeah.
I just say that because I already know what he's talking about, Chris.
Yeah.
I already know what show he's talking about and everything else. And I'm not coming against them at all because I love them both. I love all of them. However, when you get a little older and you are our age, that, just for instance, that word right there that he got blocked out, it mean a little something different.
Absolutely.
To our age group.
Yes.
To the point that we wouldn't even say that.
Yeah.
And I'm not knocking because there's a space for that group there. I didn't come from this year's hip hop rap guy. My guy was the beginning of LL Cool J. Run DMC talking about my Adidas. You understand? That's what I ain't come from, you know. I ain't gonna say it. Y'all know what I'm saying. I'm saying, so when you get that, I ain't saying that's what we looking for, because whosoever will, let them come. I'm just saying I'm looking for Metris Adams. See that comment up there? Last one. Out of 8 Super Bowls, I experienced 5 of them. I've been a part of all of them except 71 when we lost to the Colts, and 72 when we beat the Dolphins. My experience started in 77. So I've seen it. And this is the group that we know a little bit more about the history of the Cowboys rather than, see, a lot of people weren't even born. I mean, they're y'all, some of them were born with Romo. I mean, come on. I ain't I'm not knocking you. You ain't got no control over that. But I'm just saying there's a space for our folks. If you understand what I'm saying. I'm not trying to be discriminatory. I'm not trying to tell, our younger people to come, but we just different. See, like Jules, we got to get Jules right. Jules, don't run. Don't be talking about just us 3 and you want to be, no, we need you on the show. Because we're going to see, I'm the type, I can go ahead and tell you now, and I know we're going over time. But see, I know all of us the type. B.Bird, listen to me. I'm already on Philadelphia, and I'm telling you right now, Jules, when it comes to our defense, and I ain't saying the 53, but I mean, I can guess and tell you who's probably going to make the team. On defense, I don't know how we're going to stop them. That's another show by itself. Now, at the same time, I'm saying our offense going to get them problems. I'm just saying, I'm trying to find a way, like, our DT's kind of undersized going against the number one offensive line in the league with a running back that ran for 2,000 yards. Yeah. And then look, watch this. This is for another show. Eberflus got to go too high safety. Can't go single high, because if you go single high, who gonna hold AJ?
He not. He hurt.
Exactly. So you got to try to make Jalen Hurts a passer. I'm just saying, I'm already in the matchups. I'm already there. I'm studying. I'm already looking. But I'm trying to figure out, like, we ain't got the personnel to I'm saying that. So I'm trying to say, look, don't do too messed up about the situation. That's what I'm trying to tell you. But that's another show in itself. But go ahead.
Hey, Jules. Yeah. Jules, so I'm a deacon at my church, so I'll pray for you too, man. I just have to put that out there. But man, look. So check this out, man. When the Cowboys make a bad play, I'm more afraid for my 21-year-old. I watch him more because he is so up and down, man. Like this, I'll be able to calm him down. Like, hold on, man. But what it is, we've been through this, man. We've been through a lot of years of this. So to be honest with you, y'all, we get a little
all these old folks in here, man. Look at all the old folks in this chat.
They all chiming in now.
I'm gonna tell a story about how thick it is at home. And look, so the Green Bay game, right? This is my mom now. My mom, You know, so Green Bay game. So my son came in the kitchen and my son was just like, "Daddy, what's wrong? What's wrong?" And my mom said, "Jules, don't talk to him right now. They're having a tough time. They're, they're, they're having a tough time, and just you don't need to talk to them right now. They're having a tough time. Just let them have their moment." And we'll talk to them later, because it was just like my mama be like, you know what? They can never beat Green Bay. They just cannot beat Green Bay. So it's just like, you know, everyone knows what time it is when it comes to us, man. You know.
Yeah.
So we're gonna schedule that show, y'all, because you know this is must see TV. So we're gonna do this show on preview of the Eagles, and you know we can get off of the contract talk and all that, and we can talk about how we
it's football time now. That it's football.
Yeah.
So we appreciate everybody for coming through, and man, shout out to everybody. And this was one of the best shows, probably the best show we've done so far, man. So
make sure you like and subscribe to all of the shows.
Please do.
Yeah.
Make sure you like and subscribe, and we'll see y'all on the next one.
All right, appreciate it, guys.
Yes, sir.